Yes, wonderful. So welcome to the webinars, and you have now 25 minutes. You can make your presentation, and in the end, kindly keep some time for questions and answers. And we would also request you to identify 2 questions which you find most interesting and relevant. So over to you now. I will disappear.
Great, thank you very much. And greetings from Dublin in Ireland. It's nice to be in contact with all of you. I am an associate professor in the School of Law and Government in Dublin City University. And I'm delighted to have the opportunity to talk to you this morning about the programs of study that we offer here in Dublin City University. I'm going to focus on our postgraduate programs in the School of Law and Government, of which we have quite a number. But before doing that, I'll just give some context and overview to Dublin City University. So Dublin City University is a young university in an old city with a young population. Dublin is a historic city, and Dublin City University, some of our campus is old and historic. Other parts of the campus are new and vibrant. We ourselves are an institution just a few decades old, but we have grown to be a considerable force in the study of politics, law, and international relations. And according to the Shanghai Rankings, we are in the top 150 universities in the world for the study of politics. And in that ranking, we're ranked #1 in Ireland. We teach across various programs at undergrad, master's, and PhD level. We have a range of postdoctoral researchers, and we have a school of approximately 40 assistant professors, associate professors, and professors. And one of the central aspects of what we do, not just in my school, but in the university as a whole, is that we are concerned with the world around us. So we are concerned with real world impact, with transforming lives and societies. And we carry that ethos through to our teaching and to our research. And just one example there is the cover on the slide of a book that I wrote in 2015, which was about European climate change policy and the EU's relations with China and with India in the area of climate change. Environmental politics is my own area of research and teaching. We have a large and diverse student cohort, and we value that diversity, and we try to engage our students in practice-based learning and participation. We use a range of different teaching and assessment methods, again drawing from my own experience. You can see on the slide there a tweet that I put out based on a simulation, a role play exercise that I implemented in my master's module on environmental politics, where students were allocated to different delegations and they were required to negotiate a global climate change agreement. And it's not just me that does this kind of innovative teaching and assessment across the School of Law and Government. We have colleagues engaged in such activities, moot courts, and other practice-based learning. So we take innovation in teaching very seriously. And we are interested also in the dynamics of the world. And as you will all be aware, the pace of change in the world, in world politics, the economy and society, it is increasingly fast and hard to understand. And what we try to help our students to do is to understand and make sense of that world, and to understand the linkages between different aspects of politics, law, and society in terms of climate change, security, health threats, and so forth. And through doing that, we hope to, we try to develop the skills and tools of our students, not just transfer knowledge. So our philosophy, our teaching philosophy, is heavily emphasizing the practical as well as the theoretical dimensions. Our students come from a whole range of different backgrounds, countries, ages, professions. We often have practitioners in our class from the military, from the diplomatic service, from civil society, journalists, government employees, along with students who are just out of their undergrad or other studies. So we find that combination of students in the class enriches the teaching environment. And our graduates go off and work in various different professions: foreign ministries, government, development agencies, the UN, security, academia, and business. We provide hands-on support to our students through expert thesis supervision. Our library facilities are top class, and we have a range of research institutes associated with the School of Law and Government, including, as you see on the screen, an India Institute, the Ireland India Institute, an institute focused on conflict resolution and reconstruction, an institute focused on Brexit, which here in Europe is a significant topic on the policy agenda. And finally, we have a law research centre. So coming to the programs we offer 8 taught master's programs. As I said, I'm focusing in my presentation on the postgraduate level. If there are questions about our undergraduate degrees, I'd be happy to answer them after the presentation. So I'll give a flavour of each of these 8 programs. The first 2 you can see on the screen there are our MA in International Relations and our MA in Security and Conflict Studies. And these were historically the centerpiece of our postgraduate offerings. Dublin City University was the first university in Ireland to offer a master's in international relations. It's been going nearly 25 years at this stage, so we have a really strong established track record in that area. We also have huge teaching and research strength in the area of security and conflict studies, and I mentioned in the previous slide our Institute for International Conflict Resolution and Reconstruction. So that's a core research and teaching strength of Dublin City University. And those programs involve a range of core modules and then a much wider suite of optional modules covering different regions of the world, different thematic areas of world politics. And I give a flavour of those slightly later in the presentation. We also have a master's in public policy, which is much more focused on the domestic level, so on policy making, on helping our students to gain the skills and knowledge and expertise in order to solve public policy problems. And students from that program are often either mid-career civil servants working in public policy already, or they're students who want to go into that area. But public policy doesn't just mean working in government. It can mean working in the public affairs divisions of private sector companies. And so we take a broad approach to public policy, and we try to equip our students through that program to work in public policy in a variety of different concepts. We also have an LLM, a Master's in Law degree, which we introduced a number of years ago, and that draws on both the general teaching, but also the specific strengths in the school, in international law, in European law, in human rights law, and in a range of other areas. So that gives students the possibility to specialize. We have a master's in climate change, which is, I should emphasize, a social science focused program that's taught between the School of Law and Government and the School of Communications, giving a distinctively social science approach to the study of climate change. There is one module on the science of climate change, but the emphasis in the program is how policy and society can respond to this urgent global challenge. Next, we have an MA in European Law and Policy, which draws on our strength in European studies and provides students with a thorough and in-depth understanding of law and policy as they pertain to the European Union. And as I mentioned, Brexit dominates the policy agenda here in Europe, and it has raised European issues to the top of the agenda that may not be of as much interest in an Indian context, but I mention it nonetheless. Another new program that we have just introduced this past year is an MA in Data Protection and Privacy Law, which is a rapidly expanding area, and it draws on our expertise here in the School of Law and Government in data protection law, but the program is developed and delivered in collaboration with our department, our School of Computer Science. So that program gives students both a technical understanding of computer science and data issues from the technical perspective, but also a thorough understanding in data protection as it pertains to law. Last year, the EU introduced the General Data Protection Regulation, or GDPR, which has massively increased the interest in this area, but also its importance. And then finally, we have an international master in security, intelligence, and strategic studies. So this is a joint program along with Glasgow University in Scotland and Charles University in Prague in the Czech Republic. This is slightly different. All of the other programs are one-year programs. This is a 2-year Erasmus Mundus Master's program funded by the European Union with generous scholarship opportunities available. Students over the 2 years spend 1 semester each in the 3 universities, and then the 4th semester in one of the 3 partner universities. So that's a quick run through of the master's programs we offer. They all involve a significant master's dissertation of 15,000 words. And as I mentioned earlier, we have subject experts across all of these programs who provide expert supervision to our master's students. This slide just gives you a flavor of the expertise and the modules offered by our colleagues in the School of Law and Government. I certainly won't run through all of these, but I just wanted to give a flavor of the breadth of knowledge that I and my colleagues here in DCU have. So you can see there it ranges from human rights law, development, terrorism, gender, foreign and security policy, environmental politics, and we also have modules focused on particular regions of the world. So the EU, Middle East, North Africa, the rest of Africa, South Asia and India, and Russia and the former Soviet space. So if you come to DCU, you will have the opportunity to pick options, a number of options from this list, and to tap into the breadth and depth of expertise of my colleagues. We also have a structured PhD program and a large and diverse cohort of PhD students, over 50 PhD students from a wide range of countries and regions of the world, studying an even wider range of topics. Our students get dedicated supervision by expert research active members of staff. I'm supervising a number of PhD students at the moment in the area of environmental politics. It's a structured PhD program with extensive training in methods in the first year, and for each PhD program, we put together, as well as generic research methods training, a bespoke training package for each student. We have a limited number of fully funded PhD scholarships that are advertised in the spring each year. So just to conclude, and to thank you again for your time and for listening, there are further details available on our website. I've provided links there, and I hope that the slides will be shared. So there's a link there for our postgraduate taught programs. There's a link for our PhD program, and there's a link to the list of staff profiles where you can get a sense of what I and my colleagues do, what our research focuses on, and how we engage with societal debates on the topics that we care passionately about. So thank you again for your attention. I look forward to answering any questions you have, and I'm also happy to follow up by email afterwards if any of you have additional questions. So will I proceed to answer questions now? Hello?
Yes, please answer the question.
Yeah, just go ahead. Yeah, great. So I see there's one question about someone who has, sorry, the text on my screen is a little bit small. One person asking, they have completed a degree in computer science. Can they take the international master in security? That's a good question because it pertains to all of our programs. We don't have strict entry requirements, so it's possible to, we have minimum entry requirements in terms of the grade you achieved in your previous study, but we don't have strict subject requirements. So yes, it is entirely possible if you're coming from a computer science background to study international security or international relations or climate change or any of our other topics. And what we will require in an application for that is a rationale for why you want to study the course. So we'll want to see in your personal statement what is it about the topic that you're proposing to study that you're passionate about. I see there's also a question about whether we provide stipends for PhD students. We do, yes. So we provide a stipend of €16,000 per year, and we cover fees, which provides students with living costs, and that's for the full. That's for the full course of study. There is another question about scholarships for bachelor's programs. We don't generally offer scholarships for bachelor's programs, but we do for our PhD program, as I mentioned. There's a question about paying per semester. That is how things operate in DCU. So students are required to pay per semester in advance. So at the beginning of each semester, you pay the fees at the beginning of that semester. I see a question asking, am I direct from the university or am I an agent? I can confirm that I am a member of staff in the School of Law and Government. I research on environmental politics. I teach on environmental politics on a number of our programs. So I'm definitely not an agent. Just looking through the questions here. So there's a question about after learning from DCU, what difference will I have from Indian law and politics? My answer to that would be that, so I studied abroad. I studied in the UK, and although it's our neighbouring country here in Ireland, my experience was that going abroad to study provides you with new insights on your own country. So of course you could study law or politics within an Indian university. But I think there is definitely something to be said for going abroad, seeing the world through different eyes, through a different cultural lens, through a different political and societal lens. And then returning to your home country with new insights. So I that's something I would definitely recommend. There is a question about our master's program in law. Yes, we do offer a master's program in law. There's also a question about whether we offer a science program. DCU does offer science programs. I'd encourage you to log on to the DCU website. We offer the full range of courses across the university. I'm here representing the School of Law and Government, but of course we offer degrees across other programs. There's a question about the entry requirements. So the full entry requirements are available for each program. If you go on my second last slide, there was the link to the master's programs, and through that page you'll get full details of the entry requirements. In terms of English language entry requirements, those details are also on the website. IELTS, we require a composite score of 6.5 or above with no less than 6.0 in any one component. And in the TOEFL exam, we need a minimum score of 237 in the computer-based exam or 580 in the paper-based test. Further details of that are available and the other entry requirements are available on the website.
All right. So, Mr. Torney, do you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Wonderful. So we are now coming to the end of your presentation.
Great. Thank you again for the opportunity.
Before we let you go, we would request you to kindly help us select two of the questions which, according to you, are the most interesting and relevant ones. Please identify the name of the student.
Sure, yes. So Pragya Singh asked the same question a lot of times, but I think it was a good question about whether, having studied computer science, they could do the Masters in Security. So that allowed me to answer that more general question. So I would select that one, and sorry, there are a lot of questions here. I'm just seeing now. I didn't manage to get a lot of them. And I would also select Ayushi Rakesh. So after learning from DCU, what difference will I have from Indian law and politics?
Wonderful. Thank you very much. I think with that, we come to the end of your session. We would like to offer our thanks and compliments to the Dublin City University and to Mr. Torney for participation in the virtual fair webinars. These webinars are brought to you as part of the European Higher Education Virtual Fair as part of the EU's public diplomacy in India, funded by the European Union. And we've been doing these webinars for the last several years. Actually, this is the 4th edition of the virtual fair, and today is the 2nd day. We are in the Studio B right now. So with that, we come to the end of your particular webinar. We thank you for your time, and I'd like to now log you out from the system so that I can move on to the next speaker, please.
Great, thank you very much. Nice to talk to you all.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.